So I saw a little bit of that over the in the last couple of days, hearing those stories, and it just made me thought. It was like, yes, self-sabotage at the start and self-sabotage at the end as well, not achieving that goal, and just like, well, I'm not good enough. You know, seeing this day in, day out from people, it's like, I'm not good enough. I can't achieve what I set out to do, but I've just done something so extraordinary. And it's just amazing that we see this sort of stuff, Tony.
It's one word. It comes down to perspective. So the perspective of, we talk about a glass being half full or half empty. So the perspective of, hey, I set a goal and I missed it, or hey, aren't I a failure? Or the perspective of, hey, I set a goal, I just missed it, but you know what? I improved my good morning. I improved my my PB.
You got fans every day, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I do. So I was going to tell you.
Morning, Mark, business partner extraordinaire.
G'day, Mark. So perspective of, hey, I set a big goal. Hey, I just fell short, but it's an improvement on where I've been, which to me is an awesome result. I think it's a shame. And for me, then that extends into the rest of their life. I mean, if that's how they're going to feel about a run, then I get worried about, what they're doing with the rest of their life as well.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. And I actually saw this a lot from this person when I was actually, running with them a lot prior to them quitting. And it was just interesting to see those negative words always come in that talk. And it was a big one for me. And I actually bring this back to, we're both in property, Tony, as well. But I bring this back to property a little bit as well. We're getting a lot of bird noise there. You're standing under the tree.
Sorry, mate. I'm under a tree. I'm just trying some different spots, just giving the viewers a different view of Brisbane this morning. Beautiful in Brisbane today. So anyway, that's okay.
Actually,
I was just worried I might get. I was worried I might get shit on actually. So I probably should. I should move. That'd be interesting for a live audience.
Oh no, it would be. We love that. We love that stuff. But it makes me think about property in terms of where people actually, we often get the conversation of, it's like, we want to get that perfect investment when we first start. We want to get that unicorn. We want to get that something that is going to really lift us from here to here. But people are not enjoying the journey, the process.
Well, it's because we want a quick win. It's because we see people and they get it all. It looks easy, again, with social media, etc. For me, I would say progression over perfection. The first property I bought, it was a good property. It wasn't a great property. It was a good property. No different. I know you've shared your story about your first property. But you know what? Even if it is not the quite the right property, you learn from that. You learn from that. Why wasn't it quite the right property? What would I do differently next time? We do that with life, right? There's so many different things that we do in life, and it's like, that didn't quite go as well as I thought. What would I do differently next time? You take the lesson. And so for people wanting that unicorn first up, it's unrealistic. Is it possible? Yeah, it could be, but it's unrealistic for me.
It could do you damage. It could actually do you damage, Tony.
Could do you damage. Progression over perfection.
Actually, it was really interesting. Davina, actually, who has been commenting on, she loves the birds and she loves a bit of property debt as well. But she did actually say about her husband was questioned about the idea, would he change anything about, or would he change anything that he's done within property? And he said, I'll change nothing. And she had to consider that for herself. Again, I would change nothing. And it's the lessons that we've learned. And you speak to every person that has got a portfolio of 20, 40, 50, 100 properties, it's the lessons that they've learned is significant. And they wouldn't take anything back because they wouldn't have been who they are today without those lessons. And I guess that is the big thing for whether you're a runner like this person who quit from what they were doing because they were 20 seconds or 40 seconds short of their target, or you're in property investing, or you're looking to change careers, or you got business ideas out there, or whatever it might be.
Look, I would. As for me, I would certainly change plenty of things, But I absolutely take the point that you take out of the lessons, and I've taken out of the lessons, and it's shaped me to who I am today. But if someone said to me miraculously I could go back and change certain things, I would definitely change things, because I can assure you that particularly around the GFC, mate, it was incredibly hard for me. I mean, it was. I don't want anyone to go through what my wife and I had to go through, and we had $9 in the bank account, and banks closing in on us. I had 3 heavily negatively geared properties. It was awful, Luke, and so, mate, 100%. I saw that post from Davina, and straight away that's what flashed into my mind. I would change that. I would change, what I did with the ice cream shop. so on and so forth. There's plenty of things, but here's the thing about that, right? It's not going to happen, so I don't sit there and worry about it for too long. And B, it shaped me to who I am today. So, but if you asked me, if you had a magic wand and said, would you? Then there is a couple of key events in my life that I would absolutely want to go back and do very, very differently.
I wouldn't change a thing, but that's okay. We're all good.
That's fine, right? And that's okay. It's, yeah, as I said, there's plenty of things that I'm grateful for the lessons on. I'm grateful for lessons around the GFC. But it was hard, mate. It was, it was a
I
tough
can feel
slog.
your pain.
Anyway.
Benjamin says, I would change heaps as well. He agrees with you. Also, getting a good solicitor is key. That's, vitally important as well. When, we always talk about teams. Another point, the second topic I want to talk about is actually there's another person that's actually in the gym as well. And they've had a few issues in terms of injuries and things like that. But they've now quit the gym, and there's a bit of a sense that this person, they feel like they're going to be able to hold themselves accountable, but it doesn't seem like it. And I'm really interested to see where they are in 6 or 12 months' time in their journey of health and well-being, maybe mental health as well, and how that all plays out. What's your thoughts around that? Obviously there's some people that are self-motivating. I could probably do it myself, but it's that extra level of accountability that really takes me, I need to get up on Saturday. I feel like get that team environment, go to the run club and make things happen for myself. So what do you feel in regards to all these things about leaving your accountability person or your personal trainer or your property person aside and not having them be with you anymore?
Oh, I don't agree with it. I mean, I'm a coach. People pay for my services, so of course I'm not going to agree with it. But take what I say with a grain of salt. The reality is, well, because we need people to hold us to account, right? And so one of the great things, whether it be people putting goals out publicly through social media, people having the accountability buddies, people having paid coaches, others to help them out. We all need it. We all need it because here's the thing: we get in our own way. And having someone from the outside who goes, hang on a second, I'm going to pull a mirror up here, and this is what I'm seeing. We can't possibly know all the things to improve ourselves on our own. It's just not possible, right? And in fact, as humans, we spend 90% of our day operating exactly the same as the day before. So we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those are operating in our subconscious, exactly the same as the day before, same as the day before, same as the day before. So if you're operating that way with the bulk of your thoughts being the same as the day previously, you don't know. That's because we're the subconscious, because we've created this habit through experiences, through parents, through teachers, through news, through all these things in our life, and we're doing things and we don't even realize that we're doing them. And so it's important then to have someone come in and say, hey, here's what I'm seeing. Here's some feedback for you. Now, whether you choose to do something with that or not, that's entirely up to you. But at least you have a choice. See, the thing with the subconscious, in a lot of cases, people don't have a choice because they are operating at their subconscious and they're not even aware. They're not even aware. So it's all about then, how do we elevate the consciousness? Right? How do we get aware of the things that we're doing? How do we get aware of the fact that we're procrastinating, that we're fearful, that we've got doubt, that we've got a lack of self-worth, so on and so forth. And then once we're aware, then we give ourselves half a chance of changing. But I would strongly encourage everybody to have an accountability person. Now, here's the key thing with that. Just because they're your family or friend...
There's
more. Just because... oh, wow. Just watching this young kid fly down on his bike. Just because they're a family or friend doesn't make them a good accountability person. So I give you a very strong warning. Why? Because they're going to want to keep you safe. They're your family. They're your friend. They love you. Okay, well, maybe not you, right?
Poor family.
But generally speaking, right? Generally speaking, family and friends will want to keep you safe. They won't tell you what you really need to hear. And people like me, people like yourself, we'll do that. We'll do that respectfully, but we'll do that because we do that from a place of good intent, because we want you to move forward, because we want you to achieve the things that you've got out for yourself. We want you to get out of your own way. But the reality is that your family and friends, you cannot rely on them to be as open and honest with you as you need.
That was a brilliant 5-minute rant.